Hello everybody and a warm welcome to Berringer. And today, I don't usually do this sort of thing, but I'm going to anyway. I've got a video response in response to my last video, and Graham had a query for me, so I thought rather than me take and babble on the message board, I thought I'd show you in person. Now, in my last video, I was talking about the installation of my copper clad sleeper system, and Graham was asking what was the reasoning for using the copper clad system, because he wasn't quite sure the reason, and why I just couldn't just solder the track as I have done on either side and leave it at that. Now, firstly, he's right in the sense that I could just solder these two wires just directly to the track as I have done. So there's one there, one there, one there, and one on the other side, and that's because of the joint that links the two boards together. But the main reason for using the copper clad system on the sleeper joints, on the joins itself, is because it also creates a strong bond for the rail to adhere to, and basically what I mean by that is, as you can probably see, the rail is actually soldered to the copper clad sleeper on both sides, and this makes a stronger join, and that's why I say that there's two on each side. It's to create that join, and the reason for this is with the constant movement of the lifting up of the flap, you can end up damaging the ends of the rails, and sometimes they'll actually come away from the chairs. But this way, because the copper clad sleepers are glued down and that the rail is actually soldered to the copper clad sleepers themselves, it creates a much more stronger join and much more durable one. And basically, as you can see, it's virtually there's no separation there, and I can run a wagon, which I will do, right over it, and you'll see how it goes, and that's it. It just ran straight over that, no problem at all. And that's the reason for that, because when you start using, I'll show it to you on the other side on the seam section, because I haven't actually done it on the seam section, so I'll show it to you so you can actually see the comparison. Another one thing I've done also on here is I've added this latch here. Now, again, it's not used in the conventional sense of using a bolt and latch in terms of basically stopping the top from going up. It's not used as a locking device. All it is used for actually is an alignment, and that is to ensure that these two tracks are perfectly aligned every single time you drop the flap down, because if there's a slight movement between either board, then these two tracks could also just be misaligned, not because of the copper clad sleepers, but just because of the movement of the join. So that's also like an added safety feature. And then obviously when you just pull that up, it still lifts up, but when it comes down, now if the board isn't aligned properly like that, for example, that could still derail. But because of the fact that you've put the latch in, once you've pulled the latch across, it's perfectly aligned and it doesn't derail. So that's another feature for adding that. Now, if you wanted to, you could actually put one on the other side as well down the end there, and that will stop it, and it just basically stops the movement of the boards between the two. So basically, it's basically the reason for using the copper clad sleepers and the latch is for security, alignment, and it's just to stop the rails from getting damaged and coming off the sleepers. And like I say, I'll show you on the seam section. Now here we are at the seam section, and just you can have a quick view of whereabouts in case you're not quite sure of your bearings. The TMD is literally right behind me, and as you can see, this is untreated, and as Graham suggested, on this occasion I did actually literally just solder the ends on each side, and I also did it on that side. Now the reason why I'm using the copper clad sleeper system is precisely because of this, because in time this, as you can see, has got a huge gap. It's completely misaligned, which is one of the reasons why there hasn't been any running along to the TMD of late, because this has to be redone and redone. And as you can see, it's completely, the two rails here are completely damaged and need to be replaced. But what happens is then the sleepers, the chairs come away from the actual rail, and then the rail becomes misaligned because it's now hasn't got the chairs to support the rail. And that's the reason for using the copper clad sleepers. That's the main reason for using it. Not only is it just so you can use it as a power source, but you can also, it's also to secure the rail and hold it in its position so it doesn't get misaligned and doesn't get broken off, because it's much more durable. So I hope I've explained it properly, and I hope that you understand. I'm not quite sure whether I've done this or explained it properly. But like I said, this is the main reason why I have actually asked about the sleeper system, because I've seen it on so many layouts and at exhibitions and things like that. And so it is a useful thing that when you are, I mean, because like I said, I did try doing it this way and clearly it hasn't worked, and it's got bent out of shape, it's got a huge gap, it's not really fitting properly, it's misaligned completely. And it was perfectly fine when I did this the first time round. It's just through the constant moving up and down and all the rest of it, it's just got to a point where it's just got damaged. And even inadvertently, you know, sometimes you knock these things by accident and all of a sudden it just comes away. So that's the reason for it. And hopefully I'll have a layout update for you soon along this section. And as you can see, if I pan out, you can see just how far we've gone out, and that's how far we've added, and that's probably an extra 3 foot there that's been added to the layout. And as you can see, I've also prepped this end with another 2 sleepers here for when we join the next section on into the dressing area. And like I said, to the left here we're going to have the continuation of the road right down the end. That's going to come down high along here, and that's kind of going to bear off the layout, which is one of the reasons why this hinge doesn't matter that it's here, because it's actually the retaining wall is going to come in, so basically it's going to hide the hinge anyway. And along on the right hand side we're probably going to have a bit more of a town scene, and maybe a bridge will run across. I haven't quite figured it out yet. B&Q is going to be rebuilt. It's going to be made slightly smaller, because I think I always thought it was slightly a bit too big, so I'm going to make it a bit smaller, and I think it will look better. And then once we start getting ahead of ourselves and doing that bit, then obviously I'll have a layout update for you. I will post it up for you and let you know. So take care, thanks for watching. I hope this has answered a few questions anyone may have had, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.